Hi guys, my name is Logan, and today we're going to be talking about Dying Light the Following. Kind of like a review, I guess. Now this one is not going to be as crazy in depth as my Far Cry Primal one because I don't know, I don't have as many strong opinions as I did with that game, with this game. Okay, yeah. So first off, what is Dying Light the Following? Well, it's an expansion to the game Dying Light. So the story of the Dying Light the Following is you are Crane, and you are going to try to find out why this special tribe is immune to the virus. Because one of their descendant people have actually made their way into Haran and put this idea in your mind. So first things first, what is this DLC going to offer to you that is enticing? Well, you are going to have a buggy that is really fleshed out and customizable, and also the buggy mechanics are actually really well done. They're not like balls to the walls, super realistic driving mechanics where if you slip or if you drive on dirt, you're going to have no tread and you're just going to slip all over the place. No, it's actually quite free flowing and it's just kind of nice. It works in your favor, not the world's favor. And it's a hefty DLC. I think it's around $20 and you basically get a little bit less of what Dying Light was originally. You get a ton of story missions, a ton of side quests, and even more things to do all over the map. Those things being collectibles, new paint jobs for your buggy, new bobbleheads for your buggy, new boss-like zombies that can be taken down in various different ways, race challenges, again, lots and lots of side missions / again, different types of challenges like kill X amount of zombies with the said weapon fast, and you'll get a special cookie at the end of it. So there's a lot of content here. So again, with any game that has a metric fuck ton of content and is really an open world game, it's hard for me not to suggest it. But that doesn't mean I don't have some problems with the game. By the way, I do have actually quite a bit of experience in the game. I played quite a bit. I did a let's play of the entire thing, so if you want to see if I'm bullshitting or not, you can just go to my channel and look for the Dying Light of the Following playlist and see that, holy shit, I played a lot of this game. Now, I've played all the side missions. I've almost cleared out all of the special hive mine things that you're going to see. That's also one of the things that you can do in the world, is there's these heavily infested zones, and you can take out those said zones, and that will stop ultra infected virals, I think they're called, that will spawn in the night. So basically neutralizes that zone and makes it so you can drive around at night without feeling like you're like gonna die. like you're gonna die. Also, the classic Dying Light mechanics are back. They're fun. The parkour system is just as smooth as it was in Dying Light the base game. The combat system is just as fluid and fleshed out. You aim with the zombie's head, you're gonna take off his head. You aim with the arm, you're gonna take off his arm. You can do all of the normal kicks / drop kicks / tackle bashes, all those kinds of things, while adding a bunch of new things to Dying Light the base game. Also, another thing to know, guys, is I actually went into this DLC with a maxed out character, tons of extremely powerful weapons, and that may have had something to do with why I didn't really feel like this was crazy great. And we'll talk about that. So yeah, those are all the things I think it does exceptionally well. Let's talk about things that I don't think are that great in the game, and problems that you will definitely have. So with Dying Light the Following, they do add this amazing buggy driving system, but they force it down your throat way too much. It becomes this thing that is constantly a necessity to what you're doing. And with Dying Light the Following, I felt like I was barely ever parkouring and I was driving everywhere. Now, not to say that that's bad, but to say that that's kind of implemented quite poorly because of the fact that you are always going to be going down to the other end of the map, to the top of the map, to the bottom of the map, to the top of the map, to the bottom of the map, to the top of the map, in the same road that leads you there. And if you do any other route, then you're kind of just being really ineffective. And to be honest with you, that might be a byproduct of me doing generally everything. When these kinds of games come out, I like to 100% them to a certain degree, really flesh out my opinion, and considering I wanted to do a review of this game, I really wanted to do that this time around. And that made a mess with my perception of it a little bit. The reason why is because I did every single side mission. I cleared out damn near every volatile hive. I got every base type location. I went crazy. The only thing I didn't get is the collectibles, so forgive me for that. But alongside doing this, I got so sick of the driving mechanics because it was simply just driving down a road. And it may be the fact that I don't like driving games on a base level. Like, that's not something I don't play Need for Speed. Those aren't the games that I enjoy, so that might have been a byproduct of that. I did enjoy it my first, I would say, 12 hours in even? Nah, I would say 9 hours. My first 9 hours in, I would say I was enjoying it quite a bit. But it just comes down to the point where it gets shoved down your throat. And that's if you are doing all the mechanics in the game. And if you guys have played the DLC, then be sure to let me know if it did get repetitive. Maybe it was because I was just doing everything in the game and that was just, repetitive by nature because I was doing it so much. But also I feel like that was really a negative because they gave you, the main thing to Dying Light was the parkour mechanic. And they essentially took that away from you a lot because there was no real way to parkour. There was a few interior places where you could parkour, But as of everything else, it was just a lot of landscapes that you could drive in. And that makes sense. That was the new draw to this DLC, but I felt like they just kept shoving it down your throat. And the other thing that I felt like was a massive problem is that there is no fast travel. So when it tells you to go up to the very top of the map, and it tells you to go all the way to the bottom and all the way to the top, you're gonna get sick of that because there's no way to cut that time in half. Also, there is a object in the game called the button, I think it's called, and essentially what happens is when you hit the button, you will be teleported instantly to a certain point in the map. So you have instant fast travel. That would be way more interesting to a gamer, I feel. Like reading that in an article, the fact that they have made instant fast travel than saying, hey, there's no fast travel and you gotta drive everywhere. Like everywhere. You don't get to choose. Fuck that. No, you get to drive to the very top of the map and then the very bottom of the map. And then the very top of the map, and then the very bottom of the map. And then it's a big map. It's not a tiny map either. And again, maybe it would be different if there was there was no roads, like I could just drive right off somewhere, go directly to my objective, but no, I have to go down a set path that I've already been down 7 times, and it's just repetitive. And again, I think that would have been amazing to put in brackets when you're selling it is the fact that there's instant fast travel, because I feel like that should be the player's choice. If they want to experience your driving mechanics, they absolutely should, but you should never shove that down their throat. Which when playing, I did feel that way, and I'm sorry if you guys don't agree with that. Maybe you guys love the mechanics and you're like, that's just my opinion with it. The story, I didn't really care for it. Again, that is all based on your perception, though. Maybe you love that kind of story. Maybe you love Crane as a character. To me, Crane has always been kind of a cut and dry character. He hasn't really shown too much overwhelming emotion, and he kind of gets over things really fast to where he's not really human. Then again, he is a soldier, so maybe that is a byproduct of that. But as of storytelling and the way they do it is kind of interesting, but a side mission story, pretty cut and dry. It's like, hey, this kid wants a letter from his mom, so you go to the mail place and you get the note, and then you give it to the kid, and then that's it. And then you get reputation, and that's the kicker there. Also, one of the mechanics in the DLC are the fact that you need to gain reputation in order to access the story, which is good and bad, I feel. I feel like a person that just wants to experience a story should absolutely be able to do that. Maybe they don't have enough time to do all the side missions and to do all that shit. Maybe they just want to enjoy the story, and that's all they have time for. And again, this DLC feels like it is constantly taking power away from the player, which is weird because Dying Light isn't really, well, I guess it is kind of considered a survival game, but it never really felt that way to me. I never really felt like it was too hard to run away from zombies at night, or you could just bypass that entire aspect of the game to begin with and just never go outside when it's night. You could just sleep. So I never really felt like it was a survival game. I always felt like it was kind of just like a game that made fun of itself, especially considering there are blueprints that allow zombies to twirl like ballerinas or whatever. You know, they're just mechanics in play. It's almost like it's hard to get a beat on in this game. So yeah, the story, I didn't really feel like it was too amazing, nor were the side quests. The characters, again, that's my biggest criticism for Dying Light in its entirety, is the characters aren't insanely likable. In the base game, there are a few characters that stand out, that are amazing, that like you generally do feel like you have emotional attachment to, and when those characters go through encounters that are bad, it hurts you. But in this game, I never felt like any of the characters that I seen had any emotional attachment to at all. How do I tiptoe across this? This DLC is talking about Crane's story. So if you were wondering if Dying Light 2 comes out, whenever it comes out, and you're wondering what the hell happens to Crane, well, you're gonna need to play this DLC if you're wondering what happens to Crane. So like that's a problem there. I feel like it's like in order to understand the thing you've already paid for, you need to get this DLC and finish off the thing. Which also is a thing where I think that this game was scheduled to have 2 DLCs that were fairly big, and this I feel like is the last one, unless I'm kind of spoiling it, but unless we have a new protagonist in DLC 2, forgive me, I apologize. I didn't mean to spoil the whole thing for you, but hey, you're going to the experience, not waiting for a kick in the dick, so bam. So to wrap things up, I don't want this to be too long. It's worth your money, in my opinion. It's worth my money. I should say that. It was worth my money. It's a big-ass game. There's tons of content there. If you are looking for a game that you can play constantly, it's going to be there. If you are playing this when you are lower level, I feel like that's going to be a little bit better, because that may have been the reason why I didn't enjoy it to an insane degree, is because I was at endgame, I had my character maxed out, I one-shotted everything. It was kind of just that mentality behind it, and maybe that sense of survival was always meant to be in the game, and I never felt it because I did reach endgame quite quickly and all that other stuff. So that might have been a contender to why I am feeling the way I am feeling. I mean, again, I consider a game with massive content and decent gameplay enough where you can play it and be happy. worth money. Again, if it's like, especially considering it's $20, like if you've already had. Then again, you can buy this for $60 and get Dying Light with it, in case you haven't played Dying Light, which I would highly suggest. Dying Light, the base game, is one of the most unique games that came out last year, was it? I think it was last year. Hey guys, this is me in post. I missed something. The one thing that I hated that I was trying to show in the gameplay here is that it penalizes you heavily for dying. Like when you die, you are. But see, here's the thing. I'm not mad about me getting penalized for dying. That's fine. But it shouldn't take an hour to get back to my vehicle. They spawn you in these things called Hunter Towers, which are neat, but your vehicle is halfway across the map, so you end up having to run halfway across the map, and there's no real point to do that. Or you have to go to a safe house and then spawn your vehicle, but most likely it's still like a long ass, like it's very far away. So it's kind of like this pointless punishment that I don't really feel has any merit. Like, ooh, shit, I died from a boomer. Whoops, what could have I done there? Nothing. Here, oh, you know what? Fuck you. Go ahead and run halfway across the map. So that was one of the negatives I did feel happened a lot. That drove me mental, but what can you do? Again, these are just negatives to be aware of. If these do sound like deal breakers to you, then that can be a judgment that you can make. Also, if you're crunched for time and you don't really feel like you have the time to play this game, again, you have to do side missions or volatile hives to actually get access to the main story. So if you don't have that kind of killer time on your hands, then you're not going to be able to access the main story and get through this DLC. So that's something to keep in mind as well. If those are deal breakers, then you can decide that by your own merit. Bye! Well, actually, no. Gotta end out on the actual me who did the commentary. Anyways, guys, so yeah, that's my conclusion. It's worth your money. It's worth my money, I should say that. Sorry, it's worth my money. And I had a great time with it. Again, I felt like just playing it, though, I felt like it was repetitious a lot of the times, and I felt like the buggy mechanics were kind of shoved down your throat, and I wish so badly that there would have been a fast travel button. I feel like that would have fixed all of the problems I had, was having the ability to not drive down the same road I drive down 8 times, so... anyways, take with that with what you will. If you deem that to be a problem, then maybe don't pick up the DLC. If you truly don't like repetitive mechanics that are forced down your throat, then that's probably not what you want to play. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching as always, and later, guys. Also, this is my opinion, just so you know. If you have your opinion, great. I hope you respect mine, because I respect yours. Probably not. You're going to call me an asshole and a bitch? Gotcha.